Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of ES Sengen Shogi stream. Today we will be doing Harada Yasuo's tsumeshogi problems, and later on we'll also be looking at some middle endgame positions from recently played professional games. If you are in the chat, please throw a snowball and let me know that you're there. Okay, I don't think my cursor is showing up on the screen, so I'm gonna put the object tool up. Maybe that'll help me so I can draw arrows. Okay, for those of you who just joined us and aren't familiar with the format of this session, if you wish to make an attempt at solving the problem, please send me a whisper. That way other people won't see what you're writing to me. Thank you. Hey, hi. Glad you could join us. Does anyone in the chat actually use BCM Shogi? That's this interface that I'm using right now. Haven't been able to figure out how to erase arrows, so if anyone could tell me, that would help out a great deal. Yeah. That was you? Okay. Yeah, I think I recognize your handle from this. Weren't you one of the earlier people who subscribed to my Twitch? I mean, not subscribe, but follow on my Twitch? Yeah. Okay. Good to put a name to a name. Yeah, so the thing is I can draw arrows on this board, but I don't know how to erase them. It's the only thing. So it can get kind of messy, especially if I mess up. Okay. So does anyone have any candidate moves that they'd like to examine? Okay, right now the king is attacking the silver. So we can tell that silver is only going to be there, isn't going to be there for very long. Another thing that we see is that the silver is attacking the rook and also defending the gold. And then after the rook takes the gold and the silver recaptures, the side of the silver is kind of weak. So that's your hint. Okay, so I will show you the guys the first move. It's this bishop drop here. Okay. Yeah, let's look at that gold drop now. If we gold drop here, he can either take it with the knight, or he doesn't even need to take, and he can also do this, and the king will escape. So even if you take this, see, king can get out this way. Also, simply taking here also looks like it works. Okay. Okay, so we drop the bishop here. Okay, notice that now the king can't run to, let me get an arrow. The king can no longer run to this square because it's a bishop. So that's one of the points to this move. Okay. So that means that either the king has to take the silver, or knight takes the bishop. Right? The knight is defending this bishop, so the king can't take it. So the best thing to do is take with the knight. And now how do we finish him off? See, now that the knight is out, the 2-1 square is vacated. Okay. So the next move is this gold drop here. Okay. And then you notice that the king here also can't run to 3-1 because it's a gold. Kanashimi no Hebi. In this position, bishop drop 3-5 and then gold drop to 2-6. Okay. Yes. I guess I was reading an old thing. So king must take it. And now what? Uh-huh. Yes, that is correct. Okay. So now we sacrifice the rook. There's no I-goma because the gold is hitting the 2-1 square. So, I mean the 2-2 square. So if anything is interposed, you simply recapture with either the dragon or the gold. That means that the silver must take. And then there's this mate in 1 here. You notice that the silver doesn't protect on the side, so this is mate. That's what I was alluding to earlier. Earlier at the start of this problem. Okay, let's look at this again. Okay, we stop him from going to 3-1. And he has to take with the knight. If he instead takes like this, we have the same idea of sacrificing the rook. And then here. Okay, so let's go back. That's why he has to take with the knight to make it put up a little bit more resistance, though not that much. And then we create a situation where you can sacrifice the rook for the gold. And mate. Good. Okay, so let's load the next one. Okay. POD files. Okay. There we go. We can make this thing a little bit bigger. So this position, this castle is a left. Oh shoot! Wait. What happened? I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. Oh wait, this thing's kind of screwed up. Could you give me a second? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, there we go. So this is like a left mino, except the rook is where the king usually is. Kind of funny looking. And we see that the knight is covering this 4-2 square here. So when looking at this, what immediately comes to mind is, I ask myself, what if the rook weren't there? Then it'd just be mate with 2-2 silver, right? So I'd be looking for ways to get rid of that piece. You guys remember what the name of that type of piece that's in the way it's called? What it's called? If you're thinking jamagoma, you're correct. Let me type that in chat. Jamagoma. It's a piece that's in the way that you want to get rid of. If you haven't already, please add that to your vocabulary list. Hey, hi Lucy. Glad you could join us. Today we're going to be doing some tsumeshogi, and then afterwards we're going to be looking at positionals from recently played professional games, focusing mainly on the middle and endgame parts. A lot of attack and defense. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so now that we identified the rook as a jamagoma, we have to figure out how to get rid of it. Now, there's two different ways to move the rook at the moment. One is this, but after he takes back, you notice the gold now defends the 2-2 square. And also the 4-1 square is open for the king to run, so this doesn't work. He could also take with the king. And then there's too many squares. You can run to 3-3 or 2-3, for instance. Yeah, he gets out. And the other way, this way, but this doesn't quite work either. He could simply take this way, and you notice that the silver is defending the 2-2 square. If you check like this, the king just runs up. This is also not mate. And another way he could capture is this. It looks a little dangerous at first, but after check here, king runs to this square, and now if he had a golden hand, 1-3 gold would mate, but he doesn't. So if you drop the silver, he ends up escaping on the 2-3 square. See, and then next 3-4 king. So he escapes this way too. Okay, so the rook moves don't work. Now this doesn't mean that there isn't a rook move later on, though. It just means that there has to be a setup for it first. Okay, let's see what Pipnitic. I think you mean 2-3, right? Because right now the silver is on 3-2. I'm pretty sure that's what you mean. 2-3 knight. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, that means that the silver must take, and then what? Okay, so let's look at the first move. It's this 2-3 knight drop. Okay. Silver must take it. No other move. And then now what? Notice that the silver occupies the 2-3 square. And if you remember the previous variation that we looked at where the rook got sacrificed on 2-1 as a side variation, but you notice that the king could have escaped on 2-3. Now it no longer can do that. The silver is blocking it. Yeah, I guess it would depend where the king went, but yeah, you are correct. Okay. Then we go into this rook sacrifice line, like this. Okay. And now the king must take it. Now how do we finish him off? Now the silver drop works. And king up here, or to 1-2. It's not going to matter because of this mate here. If the king comes up here, you also have that 2-1 silver, or you can also mate him like this. Okay, let's look at that again. We do this check, clearing the 2-1 square and also forcing the silver to occupy the 2-3 square. Now we can sack the rook here, since it's blocking the way for our silver drop. And then mate. Good. Let me load up the next one. Hopefully when I close this, I'll just put this thing up immediately. See what the screen shows. Okay, good. So in looking at this, my eyes get affixed to the 2-3 square. That's this one. The reason why I look at that square is because of this bishop on 4-1. Right now the token is blocking its path, but that could change. See the bishop's path going like this. So how do we clear that? The thing is, if we can force the king to get to the 2-3 square, there's going to be a double check with 3-3 token. That'll clear the way for the bishop. So how do we get to that position? Okay, we want to clear the 2-3 square, and we do that by sacrificing a knight here. Yeah. And now taking is forced. And now what? If the king were on 2-3 right now, there would be an easy mate with 3-3 token, which would be a double check. So how do we force the king there? The other clearance 2-2 token doesn't work because the silver captures, and it defends the 2-3 square. Okay, do you see it? I hope so. 2-3 gold. Now the king must go there. He has no choice. And now you notice this knight defends that 3-3 square. So we can pull this token back, and it's protecting it. So this is a double check. See? Check. And also the token checks the king. So that means the king must run here. Then this mates. Let's look at that again. So we clear the square. This knight sacrifice. Then we force the king to 2-3, where it's exposed to a double check. And mate. Good. Let's go to the next problem. Okay. Any ideas? You see this knight here on 2-1, it defends the 3-3 and 1-3 squares. So there's probably going to be some type of sacrifice on one of those squares at some point in order to distract the knight, and then the piece will come in on the other square. We just have to figure out which of the squares it is. Of course, the king right now threatens to take the knight and escape up the board. So I'm thinking that the first move is probably going to be 2-2 rook in order to drive the king back. I don't know, what do you guys think? Shall we look at it? Okay. Now the king must take it. Now what? It doesn't seem like a 1-3 silver or 3-3 silver work. There just isn't enough firepower to back it up. Yeah, let's just take a look at it. Here, takes there, check here, and king can run here. Oh wait, no, the king can't run there because of this, and mate here. So, this and this. So, upon this, he has to move here. Oh wait, I don't think I found a cook though. Let's see. Oh, wait. Did I set this thing up wrong? Hmm. Um, um, um. Oh. Here, here, here. Ah, yeah, 3-1 king. Now the only check is this, and then take here. And if check here, then the king runs this way. Oh wait, what about this? He's gonna take this way. Yeah, there's no mate. Yeah, no mate. Okay, so 3 check, and then not here, but here. Yeah, okay. So 3-3 silver doesn't work. Let's look at 1-3 silver. Okay, takes here, check, and then I think we can do the same thing here, right? And there's not gonna be a mate. Yeah. Also, if this check, I guess he's just gonna interpose. Check here, takes, and then the king's gonna escape like that. Okay, so those 2 silver checks do not work. 3-3 silver and 1-3 silver. So what's the next move? Okay, one tempting. Wait, no, it's not tempting. It's not even tempting. Okay, never mind. If 1-2 rook, then he can move the king up to 2-3. Yeah, and then the king escapes that way. So that leaves 1-1 silver, like this. Now if the king takes it, there's going to be a mate with 1-2 rook. If 2-3 king, then there's 2-2 rook. Let me just show that quickly. There'd be that mate. And if king up here, then there's this mate. So that leaves running here. And now how do we finish him off? And no, the answer is not to take the gold. That would allow his king to escape. There's a nice light move now. It's the tsumeshogi. Hopefully you've become habituated to light moves, having done a lot of tsumeshogi with me. So this one should hopefully just jump out to you. Okay, drum roll. Okay, well, let me check it. Yep, that's correct. Here and promote here. Okay, now if the gold takes here, then there's easy mate like this. So the king must take it. And now it allows this rook drop here. Notice that the rook defends the pawn on 4-2. Then here, and then there's a mate. Or if here, then there's mate like this. Good. Let's look at that again. Okay. Forcing the king back so it can't take the knight. Now 1-1 silver. No, not that. 3-1 king. And then the light move, forcing the king to 3-2, where it's exposed to the final check on 1-2 by the rook. King takes, check, and mate. Good. Let's look at the next problem. So we see the rook cuts the king off from the second file. So we, as much as possible, we don't want him to escape that way. So a move like 2-3, 2-4 bishop or 2-4 silver would allow the king to move to 2-2 and threaten to get out. So in this problem, what happens is the king ends up being totally trapped on the first file. Okay, so with that hint, two moves that come to mind are 2-2 silver or 2-2 bishop. Which one is correct? Let's look at the bishop move first, because that one doesn't work. Check, king moves back. Now, the only two checks are, well, the only two reasonable checks are 1-3 silver and 1-1 bishop promotes. This quickly peters out because of that. And then there's this. The king has to take, because if 1-3 king, 2-2 horse takes. And then now, if silver up, the king escapes this way. And then there's no good ways to continue the checks. Also, if 1-3 silver, then 1-3 lance, the knight takes. Oh, please remember this position. Okay. Okay, king runs up here and then escapes. So we can conclude that 2-2 bishop does not work. So that leaves 2-2 silver here. Okay, king has to go back. And now what? Hopefully you remember that position that I told you to remember, because you can get it now. Check here. If the king runs up to 1-3, then 2-2 bishop will mate, so the king must take the silver. So from here, how do we finish off the mate? So it's the same position as before, only difference is that you have a bishop in hand instead of the silver. And that makes all the difference. Notice that if the knight weren't there, a 3-3 bishop would force a mate. So is there a way to distract the knight? Okay. 1-3 lance. Now if he doesn't any kind of igoma, then 2-2 bishop immediately mates. So that means that he has to take it with the knight. And now, Excuse me. This bishop drop. And king must come up, and then there's mate. Okay, good. Let's look at that again. So start off with 2-2 silver. Let's go back. And this check. Knight must take, and if there's not any kind of igoma, you simply take it. So king goes up, and then mate here. Good. Let's go to the next problem. Okay. Okay, what move kind of jumps out at you immediately? I hope it's a silver taking the knight. The reason is, see, if rook takes, like here, there's going to be an immediate mate like this. So that means that the silver is immune. It means king has to run here. Okay, so next move the silver back like this, check. Now if the king runs to 3-3, there's 4-3 gold mate, so the king must run to 1-2. So we formed a nice katachi, so how do we finish him off? Okay, we do that by dropping the gold here. Takes, then takes here. And what are the final moves? Make sure you don't drop the rook on 3-3 because the king can run to 2-4. No, drop it here. And finally, with the knight, mate. Let's look at that again. Okay. First we make this katachi with same katachi with the knight in hand. Check. Check. And so we get that. Then because the silver is protecting the 2-3 square again, we can finish him off by getting the rook in hand. There. Mate. Good. Let's do one more of these, and then we can get to the professional game positions. Okay. Check here. If we check on 3-1, the king is going to escape this way. So we have to check the king here. He's forced to run here. Now you notice that this rook is a jamagoma. It's a piece in the way. And if it weren't there, there would be an easy mate with 4-1 bishop. So how do we get rid of that rook? Okay, there's only one really good square, and that's on 1, 2. If king 3, 3, then we just move the dragon back to 3, 2 and mate. By promoting it on 1, 2, you notice that the king can't run to the 1, 4 square. So the lance must take. Okay, now we have this 4, 1 bishop. If 3, 3 king, one of the bishops will promote to 3, 2 and mate, so the king must run to 2, 2. Okay, now we have to make sure one of the bishop on 2, 1 maintains contact with that lance so we can sacrifice it. So here, king runs back, and we take that final lance so we can mate like that. But let's look at that again. Okay, stopping the king from escaping on the second rank. And then we get rid of the Jamagoma. And that clears this square for the bishop. And then now we finally sacrifice the final bishop for the mating piece. All with the help of the pawn on 1, 3. Good. Alright, I'm going to reload this stream. Give me about a minute. The next thing that that's it for the tsumeshogi portion of this session. Next we will be looking at some positions from recently played professional games. See you in a couple minutes.